Back, let's give you this story now. Former Correctional Services Commissioner Linda Mti is expected to hand himself over to the police today. It's in connection with Bosass. Reporter Erin is at the Pretoria Central police station with the details for us, and she joins us live. Erin, good morning to you. Has Linda Mti travelled all the way from the Eastern Cape to present himself at the Pretoria Commercial Crimes Court?
Well, Oli, that's what we understand to be set to happen this morning, and from information we've received from some of the authorities, he's expected here at Pretoria Central between 11 and 12, so within the next 45 minutes or so. And from here he will then go to the Specialised Commercial Crimes Court just around the corner in Pretoria, where he's due to appear as accused number one in a case between the state and 5 different respondents, including Patrick Gillingham, his former colleague at Correctional Services, and Angelo Agrizzi, the former COO of Bosass.
Talk to us about the composure, Erin, of those who appeared yesterday. You were there. Patrick Gillingham, that's someone who we hardly see. Of course, Angelo Agrizzi, people have seen. People like Franz Foster, for example, was at the State Capture Commission. Talk to us about their composure and just the look on their faces as they face these very serious crimes.
Yes, well, it's understood that the whole process of them being apprehended and then appearing in court was not particularly adversarial, that they had a fairly smooth process of meeting with the authorities and then of their own volition, in fact, on some of the reports, then appearing at the Specialised Commercial Crimes Court. But Angelo Agrizzi, for example, as leaving court number 19 yesterday, when I asked him, how do you feel about bail, him responding, no problem. Patrick Gillingham rather stern-faced and declined to comment as he passed through that corridor and made his way out of court. But I did in fact see him later in the road with his lawyer. He refused to give any comment or to even acknowledge me, which you can understand considering the charges he faces, and then having to deal with a greeting from a journalist. And his lawyer indicated that Gillingham would not be giving comment. But what we do now have, following his appearance yesterday, is a more contemporary image of Patrick Gillingham. In fact, the only image to have circulated in the press up until now is rather dated and shows him in his Correctional Services uniform. Of course, he no longer holds that position, but the allegation is that he was the recipient of undue benefits from Bosass when he was still in Correctional Services. And on some of the court documents I've seen, that includes over 550,000 rand, Oli, for a Mercedes-Benz, which Bosass is said to have bought him. Bosass is also accused of having bought vehicles for his wife and children. And these are some of the details in the court papers which now relate to the 2 indictments on the Bosass cases.
Yeah, indeed. Linda Mti and Patrick Gillingham said to have benefited hugely from these bribes, allegedly from Bosass. The one person, though, Erin Bates, that I suspect many South Africans would have thought would also have been arrested is the CEO of Bosass himself. What's his name again? Gavin Watson.
Gavin Watson, indeed. And in fact, African Global Operations, which was Bosass, is one of the accused in the first indictment of the 2 indictments which pertain to the court appearances yesterday. 2 subsidiaries of what was Bosass, Sondolo IT, which has now changed its name, as well as Pezulu Fencing, also listed as respondents. And from what I've been able to gather, no representatives for those companies at court yesterday. And certainly a question around Gavin Watson, but the SIU report of 2009, which recommended to the NPA that it institute criminal charges against a range of people, including Angelo Agrizzi, Linda Mti and Patrick Gillingham, curiously doesn't mention Gavin Watson, yet that report contains finer details on alleged corruption between his very company and the Department of Correctional Services.
Right. Well, Erin Bates, we are going to have to keep checking with you as you try and get a glimpse of Linda Mti, who we also haven't seen in the public for a very long time. The pictures we have of him are stock footage in the language of us broadcasters here. All right, Erin Bates, we'll leave it there for